this is the Bell of Treason, 1938 Munich Crisis in Czechoslovakia. It's a game from GMT Games. It's pre-production prototype, and it's my first published design. I'm pretty excited to look what's inside and to show you. So before that, just a brief introduction of what this is about. The Bell of Treason is a game about appeasement. And it's about appeasement from the viewpoint of its victim. Czechoslovakia, in this case, in 1938, let's say a year before the World War II starts. And I would guess you are aware of Munich Agreement. Hitler wanted to Czechoslovakia to concede part of its land, so-called Sudetenland. And of course he said that it will be his last territorial demands. And so leaders of Great Britain, France, Italy and Germany met in Munich and signed Munich Agreement, which forced Czechoslovakia to concede this disputed land. And you know how it ended. Half a year after, Hitler conquered the rest of Czech part of the country. Slovakia declared independence and become Third Reich's ally. And the lesson from the history about appeasement, it's there. But in practice, it's never that simple. It's process. It's not just one conference. And that's what this game is about. It's about half a year, roughly, before the Munich conference and ends, let's say, hours or a day after the Munich conference. And there is always a decision. Czechoslovaks could decide to defend themselves and not to concede the territory. And that's what this game is about. One player is playing the idea of conceding the territory, which was the historical result. And the other player plays for the defend, so-called defend, which means they want to fight and defend the territory even with no allies, no foreign help at all. Both these options are bad, of course, but that's nature of any appeasement, I would guess. So it's two-player game, and it's usual CDG style. Let's check the back of the box. You can see the board, the cards. It's in the series that was created by Mark Herman. I think it has just an informal name, the series, so-called Final Crisis, because the first game in the series is Fort Sumter, about the crisis right before the American Civil War. The second volume, or the second game in the series, is by Fred Serval. It's Red Flag over Paris, about rise and fall of Paris Commune. And this is the third one in the series. So if you are familiar with any of those two, I think you will be very you can easily jump into this game. And of course, if you played any CDG like Twilight Struggle or any political game of that sort, it will be easy for you as well. So you can see 1 to 2 players. It has also solo bots for both sides, and playtime is 30 to 45 minutes. I think even the first game will be under an hour if you are learning the rules. I know that some playtesters were able to finish this game within the 20 minutes. So let's check what's inside. All right. So art you'll see, and you already saw some on the front page, is by Tomáš Hnězdinský, and the developer was Joe Devhurst. So let's check. All right. So first of all, yeah, there are some quotes around. And all right, so usual rulebook should be, yeah, it's even slimmer than I thought it would be. So pretty short game. You can see. Let's check. Yeah, so it's supposed to be very easy to jump into games. So you can see that there are no numbering. There is no numbering within the rules, because it's supposed to be that simple that it really doesn't need those references and stuff like that. Yeah. So here we have the setup, sequence of play, and yeah, and here we have victory on page 10, and here starts the rules for solo. I hope people will like solo as well. I very much liked the solo bot for Red Flag over Paris, and this is the same system. Yeah, glossary here. Okay, and set up once more. So rules of play. Now playbook. Okay, that's 36 pages. So what we have here. So there's an example of play, 2-player example of play. And there will be, yeah, final decision round, solo example of play as well. Yeah, so you can learn by that. You can see those red boxes, stop and read part of the rules. And and here starts my historical notes. Munich Crisis, faraway country. Yeah, so you can see what is the Sudetenland, and where fortifications that Czechoslovaks built to defend against the Third Reich. They were, of course, located within, mostly within the Sudetenland. And now we have the story of the Munich Crisis timeline. So this is something I want to point out here. You can see that the game is played in 3 rounds, and the final round is called Final Decision. And you can see the timeline here. So the first round is from April to September, several months. Then there is a second round, which is just a week long. The third round is again week, and final decision after the Munich conference is very, 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 very quick with some special rules, but nothing super complicated. So we have the history told by those rounds. So yeah, you can see some Czech letters. So therefore we have Czech pronunciation guide here. If you want to pronounce it, yeah. So you can even, I see, you can even learn how to pronounce my name. Yeah, the pronunciation guy by Petr Šťastný. And then we have the history behind the card. So every card, of course, has a description. What was that about? Again, with some help how to spell the names, usually the names of the actors. Designer notes, my dedication, bibliography and credits. Yeah. And as a bonus, you have the Munich Agreement here. It's not full text. This is the main body of Munich Agreement, so you can even read what was it about. And this is an aid for playing with solo, because of course you will have player aids. Oh, I like that. I like that material. Yeah, so this is general player aid for 2 players, of course. So it's a sequence of play. What can you do with your cards apart for playing events? And this is a sequence and basically the rules for the final decision and determining the winner. And on the backs, you have concede solo opponent or defense solo opponent, depends on what side you are playing. And together with that, it should be enough to have all you need to play solo without need to reference the rule book. All right. So this is what I leave in the end. To the end. Okay. Baggies. No. Okay. We have 1 die. This is, I call it Hitler's die, because the only reason why this is in the game is that Hitler is unpredictable whether he will attack Czechoslovakia or not. Players can't be sure about that. So this is there is a possibility of some die rolls about his decision, and this is the only reason why it's there. Okay, we have wooden components. So cubes represents the idea of conceding the territory. The white should represent peace, and the green should represent military part of the idea of defense for the side of defend. Dark green. Some pawns to mark stuff on. Just one to mark victory points, and we have those red discs, which represent the activity of both military activity of Germans in Germany and paramilitary activity of Sudeten Germans in Czechoslovakia. Terror that they unleashed, the uprising that were happening in Sudetenland during the crisis and even slightly after. Yeah, so we have the cubes, and probably the most important is this deck of cards. So let me open it. So there are several purpose cards. So of course the one you already see is the main deck of so-called strategy cards. Okay, let's check it. Okay, here we go. So here we go. Strategy cards. This is of course the main meat of the game. You can see operation points, the events, and you have white cards. You have for concede, you have green cards for defense side, and you have blue, which are neutral. Yeah. Okay. This is President Beneš, Edvard Beneš. He's considered the main actor of the crisis on Czechoslovak side. There are several rules and victory conditions based on his personality and what he did during the crisis and what his stance was during the crisis. You can see the the pressure from the Great Britain, led by Neville Chamberlain, Anglo-French ultimatum. French and British ambassador wake up the president to deliver their final ultimatum. And of course, Stalin, Roosevelt, Poles, Hungarians, lots of actors in this crisis, even when it's from the viewpoint of Czechoslovaks mostly. So these are main cards. Then we have objective cards. So these are sort of hidden goals for each round, which very much drives the game, because you can score for those. So every game is different because you draw and select different objectives during each game. And all right, so okay, like that. So this is a card about mobilization, partial mobilization, general mobilization. This goes to the board. There are special rules basically on the card. There are those rules. You can imagine that mobilizing or not mobilizing is a huge deal for political decision whether to defend the country or not. We have the initiative, defend, concede, and this is basically turn track. Those round cards represent what's happening on those rounds. There is no round track. It's represented by these cards. You can see that it begins in April 24, 1938. Very soon after Hitler annexed Austria and so-called Anschluss. Yeah, so we have those rounds. Okay, and now let's check the map. All right, so we have it here. So we can see it's a really political game. The map of Czechoslovakia is just background here. Background here is map of Prague, map of Europe. But what it's really about are those political dimensions. Basically, political is one dimension, the purple one. This international dimension, public and military. So you can see basically 3 of 4 are inside Czechoslovakia. So mostly you are playing within what's happening, the battle of ideas that's happening within the country, but you also have the international pressure on the country to concede coming from United Kingdom, but it might come later on from France. In some rare cases, it might come from Soviet Union. Yeah, and you can see those arrows. They are pretty significant in this game. This is a big feature. You can see by this arrow, for example, that United Kingdom can influence President Beneš, but President Beneš can't influence back the United Kingdom. Of course, there are some events as an exceptions for that, but it's that's the general way. Yeah. So these are places for cubes. We have some holders for objective cards that are selected. This is the place for turn track. This is a victory point track. Some references for the when the Hitler die could be rolled and triggering immediate end game, but it's rare. It won't happen in most cases, and this is important. This is the Sudeten. This is German track, German activity track, and it shows the uprising of Sudeten German terror attacks. Then they founded Freikorps, and they started even another wave of terror attacks. Basically, the offensive. This is the third slot here. Okay, so that's it in terms of components. I think I very much like what I see, so I hope you will enjoy the game. So thanks for watching, and see ya.